Good morning, everybody. This is Sam, the SLB. Alongside me is Scott. We're coming to you with the news. ATR is going to be delivering your news separately now from the podcast through a bunch of our restructuring at the moment. So expect to see this on YouTube. Again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel. Let's get into it. Let's start with the schedule for the next couple weeks. Busy couple weeks, obviously, as we've talked about prior. On the 26th, we have Impact's Under Siege. On the 27th, we have Stardom's Flashing Champions. And, of course, WWE's Night of Champions over in Saudi Arabia. The 28th, we have New Japan's Best of the Super Junior Finals, AEW's Double or Nothing, and WWE's Battleground. And I believe somewhere in that mix, we also have New Japan Pro Wrestling's Resurgence. If that's not happening today. That is happening today. Or yesterday. Depends on when this drops. The 2nd of June, we have Stardom's New Blood 9. On the 3rd and the 4th, we have NWE's Crockett Cup. I can't believe that's already come and gone.
Oh, wow.
And of course, on the 4th, probably I would argue maybe the second biggest event over for New Japan, Dominion at Osaka Joe Hall. A lot of big things happening at that event.
Right.
Ethan and I will talk about on Above the Ring's Rising Sun. A quick overview of what we'll be talking about today. Obviously, the passing of Billy Graham. We have the launch of the new show from AEW on TNT. We have a new AEW filed trademark and the vacation of women's tag team titles. So we're going to start with, and this is a shocker. I actually went on Twitter afterwards and realized he was not in good health, but legendary superstar Billy Graham passed away this past week at the age of 79. I've seen a couple of his matches online. From my understanding, and Scott, you might know a little better than I am, he was considered like the big thing before Hulk Hogan.
Yes. Yeah, he was. And it's funny because when I was watching SmackDown, they actually mentioned his passing before Pretty Deadly came out. And they were saying how he probably would have taken to Pretty Deadly pretty well because Superstar Billy Graham was out there. He was, I guess they called him the first superstar. So it makes a lot of sense that they would all get along. But yeah, his passing was very sad. It's hard to see, as we all get older, some of the legends that even before when I really first started watching wrestling, I knew of him. I've seen some of his old matches. It's sad to see them pass because it's like, yeah,
they were the legends to our legends.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. 1 month before his 80th birthday too. So he was so close to turning 80. Yep. It's upsetting. Everything out to him and his family. Put on a good show up there. So we're saying, Billy, it's a lot of good talent up there.
It's true. My God, can you just imagine the tournaments up there, Sam? Because
tournaments and factions. Well, speaking of shows and tournaments and factions, we got the announcement. We've been talking about it at the big Warner Brothers Discovery event at Madison Square Garden in New York City. TNT finally announced the launch of the second night of wrestling. Second, we'll put it in quotes because, the nerds out there, well, I'm about Rampage. Yeah, get over it. AEW Saturday Collision happening 8 Eastern time, 8 to 10 on Saturdays. On it, obviously, they mention headliners Thunder Rosa, Miro, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, Andrade El Idolo. A lot of cool talent. And again, this could change. We know how this, things happen where it's like, oh, all this talent will be here. And then maybe in a month after the show ends, none of them are even on the show. Right. Things change, and that's not an AEW thing too. WWE does it. It's just how the business works. I'm super excited for this. This is pretty cool. Obviously, I'm a guy who likes to go out all the time. So for me, I won't watch it live. And this is something Scott might tweet this. It depends on what's going on for the weekend. So Don't expect us to be online all the time for Collision. I'm not. This isn't a guarantee. This is a weekend. Weekdays are different.
Right.
But I mean, you and I, first thing we noticed that the homage to the Nitro logo, man.
Yes. Yep. It's also giving me WCW Saturday Night vibes, obviously because of its timing and placing. I don't know. There was just something when I was young and I first discovered wrestling. Outside of WWF Superstars, it was WCW Saturday Night and on TBS starting at 6:05 because it's
6:05
time. Always before the Braves games too, so it was fantastic. But yeah, no, it's nice to see wrestling again on Saturday nights. More than likely I'll be free, so I will be live tweeting it for us. Because I'm a hermit that lives in northern Vermont, so it is what it is. It's totally fine. It's nice. It's fun. I'm hoping that they do some type of brand split like this and keep these talents on each show, so that way it'll drive audiences that want to watch their particular wrestlers. Like me, I can't wait to watch Miro again. I've missed the man. I miss him being in the ring. I miss the trumpets. I miss everything. If they change his music, I swear to God, gonna be angry.
What's interesting about this, and I know everyone's like all freaking out about, oh no, this is gonna be, AEW's ratings are going down the tube. TV is different. TV is way different these days. And let's keep in mind that Warner Brothers Discovery is now coming at them with originally was supposed to be $1 billion deal for 5 years. And now there are rumors, they haven't really even released that number. Supposedly it's as high as 1.2 billion.
That's fantastic.
And for 5 years.
Yeah, and the fact that now they're exclusively on Warner Brothers TV, so there's no more Dark, no more Elevation. It's just Rampage, Dynamite, and Collision. And I don't even know where Rampage is going to be. If they're still going to keep it on Fridays, there's rumors now that that's just going to be what Dark and Elevation used to be, where it's just going to be focusing on younger talent. That's okay. That's fine. I'm excited to see what happens with this and who goes where and the storylines that come out. That come out of it. Will there be more titles? Like, what's going to happen? I want to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, but I think the deal with Warner Brothers Discovery and this big change, the fact that they're putting this much bank into this product, a product that some wrestling fans, and I'll corner a market here, like WWE marks are like, oh, this is not, they're gonna be bad. This is good, this isn't WC. I hate the argument that this is WCW all over again. First and foremost,
it's not.
The network owned WCW.
Right.
That's the thing I think people forget. The network owned it. So yes, they could have had a 30-year deal for Nitro and then we're gonna cut it. That's our product. Yeah. Whereas this is a deal between two parties.
Correct.
And realistically speaking, think about this, Scott. This deal, when we get it confirmed, if it is, it is 5 years, that confirms that Dynamite will now be on longer than Nitro.
Correct.
People which
forget how short WCW was actually mainstream. They forget that.
Mm-hmm. Was it September 95 to March 2001?
Yeah, it was 6 years. That's it. But it felt like an eternity because most of that they were embroiled in the Monday Night Wars. So
yeah, it's exciting. Again, we've ever since we started this product, our podcast and the show. I mean, you and I met at a time where it was WWE.
Yep.
And you had Ring of Honor and you had Impact and, you could go to Japan and watch stuff going on. But it was WWE and then it was kind of like tough shit.
Yeah.
It's like going to I don't know, McDonald's and only being allowed to get a fucking Big Mac.
Right.
Well, maybe I just want a small fry. Nope, Big Mac.
Yep.
Every single time. So I think we also need to at least touch on the hot topic here. And I'm looking at my timer and I'm like, well, this is a big enough news story. We're definitely going over the 10 minutes on this. Which is fine. I think this is probably the biggest thing we're going to have in the first half of the year. CM Punk was supposed to be on this announcement and he was supposedly pulled from it. There were a lot of rumors and obviously CM Punk's addressed the, too many people fucking talking about it. Yeah. So we're gonna keep this short, but pretty interesting that he wasn't included for one reason or another. Maybe the deal isn't done. I mean, I don't know, Scott. I've had a lot of internal thoughts on this, and obviously, the stat man has given his a lot of thought. I want to hear you, somebody who's been watching wrestling, and not to be a dick, who's watched wrestling as long as I've been alive.
I know, right?
Overall, your opinion on overlooking everything.
With Punk, it's tough because he can be absolutely real on how he's talking, or it could all be part of the show. It's tough to read Punk, especially since he's been gone for so long, comes back, has, all out brawl and all that other nonsense, and then disappears again. Winning the title was outstanding, and then yeah, all that nonsense happened, and now it's just like part of me is excited to see if he does show up at Collision. We still don't know where that first show is going to be. That's going to be a big announcement by Tony Khan. We're all assuming it's Chicago. If it's Chicago and CM Punk doesn't show up, then I don't know. This could be a problem. Um, at least in the short term. But if he does show up, you can expect again the loudest pop since his return, his original return. Um, I think that if he's leading Collision, I think that the Collision brand's going to do very well. Not to say that anybody else couldn't lead it, but if you're going to have one entire show dedicated to wrestlers who are not going to be on Dynamite, not really going to be on Rampage, this is what I hoped the original brand split was for WWE, when you had dedicated people on one show, dedicated people on the other, and you built them up. WWE did a pretty decent job trying to build up people during their initial run of their splits after WCW was bought out and the horrible invasion angle finished. I'm hoping that they'll do the same thing with AEW, that they actually will build people. Not necessarily have to. I mean, they might have to reestablish some stars because we haven't seen people like Miro and Thunder Rosa, and Andrade. We haven't seen them in forever, so they need to reestablish themselves at the top of the card and hopefully be able to start bringing up some younger talent and make them, more of a well-known brand, well-known person. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that's something that I like to, addressing that. I mean, the only person who I kind of see them working on, I don't even say working on, but he's been probably the most consistent independent signing in recent, probably the year, has been Action Andretti.
True. We haven't seen him on TV all that much, but
he's been on Ring of Honor a bit.
Yeah. And that's always good. I mean, even if you have to ship people down to Ring of Honor to fine tune them more, use ROH as I want to say
breeding ground.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be the perfect way for it. I mean, it could be their minor leagues and just kind of, their AAA affiliate, just pump them up, off you go. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good assessment. Do you think he shows? Like, yes or no answer, gun to your head. Do you think he shows?
If it's in Chicago, yes. If it's not in Chicago, no.
Okay. That's a good thought. Also, just I think the one thing I did miss, this is going to be live, which is cool. It's not going to be pre-taped. I know we've gone through it before on the chat, the assumptions of it's going to be Rampage, going to be taped with Dynamite, and it's going to be Ring of Honor. Either way, we're looking forward to it. On top of all that, I'm going to hop over to AEW file a new trademark for entertainment services. So it's a simple black and white. It's pretty much the same logo. It's intended to cover categories of entertainment services in the nature of live wrestling performances, entertainment services in the nature of production of television shows and multimedia entertainment content featuring wrestling programs and events, fan clubs, etc. So it looks like it's just the brand logo.
Right. It's a smart move. You want to keep your logo in-house, so that's always a good way to do it.
Recently the company filed the same mark for new merchandise purposes, and they also recently trademarked AEW Wrestle Dream.
Ooh.
So interesting, a lot going on.
Yeah.
This is a lot of good things going on.
Do you think maybe this is like a Forbidden Door thing where you could have dream wrestling matches?
I was thinking that, and then they had a link that I'm following on. It's on Fightful. AEW trademarks Wrestle Dream for clothing, toys, and other merchandise uses.
That makes sense too.
So they're gonna probably, for merchandise.
Yep. Merchandising. Perfect.
And speaking of, this wasn't even on my list. We have a rumor that June 27th is going to be AEW's Fight Forever release date.
Okay. I've seen that. I guess people on Xbox can start preloading the game. It'll be interesting. I know personally, I'm probably not going to get it. Just
that's what you have me for.
Well, I mean, Sam will buy all the wrestling games. I don't know. I like more of the realistic style. I remember playing like the old like WWF superstars way back in the day, and just I don't know. Even back then, I didn't like the goofiness of it. I wanted to be more realistic. So that's just me. I'm sure it's going to be a good game. They've delayed it long enough. I hope to God they got all the bugs out of it. But yeah, it should be interesting. I'll definitely keep my eye on it. I'll definitely. I'm sure you're going to be doing a review of the game, so more content. Yay!
Yeah, I think us, Ethan and I will pick up the game. We'll
Perfect.
probably review it and play it together. And maybe we should start doing that, Scott. We should start reviewing wrestling video games as they come out. Give me a reason to just buy them every year.
Right. Exactly.
Um, so we're gonna hop over this last story. Obviously not AEW related, because we're not an AEW affiliated channel. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez had to vacate the women's tag titles due to Liv Morgan's suffering an injury. On Raw, I believe.
In their last match against I believe it was Dakota and Bailey. Dakota actually was injured as well. But yeah, the injury will keep Liv Morgan off of television for a considerable amount of time. Unfortunately, they had to vacate the titles, but that sets up a fatal four-way tag team match, I believe, in a couple of weeks on Raw to determine the new women's tag champs. Raquel is in that fatal four-way, but she just needs to find a new partner. Have zero idea who that possibly could be. If they're going to bring somebody up from NXT or if somebody from SmackDown, I don't know, because I don't know. I hoped for an actual brand split, but we're not having that. We still have Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw. There's still a whole lot going on. So.
NXT champions on SmackDown.
Correct. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, the only one that actually did it correctly was Indy when she vacated the title when she went to Raw, but I think that was also for injury sakes. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's gonna be sad not seeing Liv on TV. She's actually been doing real well ever since since she lost her title and she got more of an extreme edge to her. She's been doing real well being on television. So yeah, she'll be missed, but it'll be interesting to see once she comes back what happens with her and with Raquel. So we'll see.
We will see. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on our YouTube channel. Keep it out for more news videos coming out.